Welcome to the Crypto Cafe. I'm your host, Virginia Reyna, and with me is Stef C. Today we'll be talking with Randy Saaf, CEO of Lucid Sight, and learning all about their partnership with the Dodgers. Plus, we'll discuss the challenges of crypto gaming. Welcome. We're so excited to have you on here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so, I think Stef is allowed the very first question because she's just dying to know.
Why baseball? Like, why not football?
She's a diehard Jets fan over here, so she has just been
Which
dying
means
to
I'm a
know.
very loyal person because my team has not been great.
Yeah. Well, when we first came up with the concept of digital collectibles that were scarce, it was actually before the NFT was, really popularized, before the ERC 721 standard had really taken off, and so it was really early days of this stuff. So when we approached different licensors, MLB was actually one of the most forward-thinking, which worked out really well because they were also on our very short list of quintessential collectors brands.
Well, yeah, when you say collectibles, like I do, like I still have my box of baseball cards. Like no one really collects and keeps football cards.
And when I find myself explaining even crypto to like my mom, I always invoke baseball cards because scarcity is most intuitive around baseball cards, I think.
Yeah, so how did you actually end up working with the Dodgers? Because it just seems like, like you said, your company hasn't been around that long, and then all of a sudden you were doing like the first ever digital crypto. Yeah,
so we have a game called the MLB Crypto Baseball, and so we have a license with the MLB and the MLB Players Association, so we can do the teams, the players' likenesses, and have a full game that's tied to the actual events of the game. So if a grand slam's hitting the game and you're playing your characters right, you might get a reward for that, right? Yeah. So that's the idea of the game. We had built the game, had a license with MLB, and we started meeting some of the teams through various events, and the Dodgers were they're also a very forward-thinking team. They took a real interest, and we're a Los Angeles-based company, so we went and met with them, and they were all about this, grand experiment of like, what does a digital collectible look like for a next generation of baseball fans? Because, I think the general theory with our company is that, call it 12 years old and younger, don't want physical tchotchkes. They're
right,
sort of
like the Panama Hat Night, all of these ridiculous the fingers.
See, I love that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a group of digital natives. They're growing up playing Fortnite. Yeah. They'll be playing video games their entire life. They'll be, video games aren't designed for 60-year-olds, but the people playing Fortnite who are 12 will be playing something when they're 60 or 70. It's just a part of their entire life.
Well, as soon as we heard about it, we were like, we got tickets.
We're going.
And so we actually were there for it. We actually have a clip that we're going to play. We are actually at the bobblehead, about to go inside and get the first ever digital bobblehead. You ready for that?
I'm really ready.
So we are about to go through and get our digital bobblehead.
So tonight, they gave away a digital bobblehead. Do you know what that means? Do you have any, what are your thoughts on that?
I really don't. I was really confused walking in. And we stopped this nice man here, and he kind of explained it to us. Got to download this, do that. It kind of seems like a lot of work, but what are you going to do?
Do you think you'll do it?
I think I'll do it.
You download the app, it's MLB CB, then you just go on your phone and you can scan it. Let's see. We're going to scan it. And then you got Justin Turner.
Oh, cool. I'll take that.
I do feel like people are used to getting that tangible something. Like they want the free something.
Yeah, one of the challenges with crypto in general and with blockchain gaming is the onboarding experience for non-crypto enthusiasts. So we chose to give out, this I'll use technical talk, we gave out a paper wallet essentially. So the collectible was an NFT that was, with a private key. Yeah, you have them. Where it was below a scratch card. So the idea there is that, the 50-year-old fan who gets it, or 60-year-old fan who gets it, super Dodger fan, doesn't really know what to do with it, has never owned crypto before, can put it in a drawer, give it to somebody else that is into crypto, into digital collectibles.
We tried to get in touch with them, and we were like, we should display what they're doing on the Jumbotron at the game, but it didn't happen. Maybe next season.
Is it kind of like fantasy baseball?
Yeah, the game is designed. Yeah. It's like fantasy light. I would say it's a cousin of fantasy sports in the sense that the outcome of your game is based on the real game. And the reason we designed it that way is that we thought if you were to design baseball cards today, right, for a modern version, they would have to do something, right? Just a picture of something wouldn't be enough for someone who's used to interactive media. So we thought, what would be better than being able to memorialize the long tail of sporting events, right? So you not only have things like, you know, if a Grand Slam wins the World Series, a collectible might be generated, and then that person is the only person in the world who has that collectible, you know, maybe with a jade bat or some other physical attribute, and then all the way down to your team winning the, you know, the playoffs.
So when you just said, like, if the one person that had the card of the person that hit a Grand Slam to win the World Series, is there just one of each for the game? Is that how that works?
It's what it is they have a combination of physical characteristics and then also event-based characteristics. So it's like a Grand Slam with a jade bat might be really rare.
And I'm just going to totally geek out, but this makes so much sense because way back in the day when I was playing like EverQuest, we would go on these like dungeon raids and you would like kill this dragon and you would get these like, they were called like golden Ifriti boots. And people would pay, like sell them on eBay for like $50 in real life to get those things that like only once in a while you could get. So I feel like this is just like going off of that so much.
Yeah, it's 100% the evolution of that. The concept of real money in gaming has been around for a very long time, and there's always been a lot of problems with it. One is that the game developers can kind of just change the rules whenever they want. So
they didn't like it. Like they really were against that because then, like, you know, the people that have the most money can buy these things that were supposed to be, you know, hard to get.
You have to figure out. Yeah.
That's right.
You also have CSC or Crypto Space Commander.
Yeah.
And so this also has these like, is it one-of-a-kind ships that you get?
CSC is styled off of a game called EVE Online, which is a very popular space MMO, and it's a player-controlled economy. So basically, it's a game that has been around for about 10 years, where players do buy and sell stuff from each other, and they craft things. The traditional game loop is you fly to a planet, mine some resources, discover a spaceship, figure out the recipe, craft it, fly to a further, improve your spaceship, fly. It's an MMO, right?
Right.
And so that game has been very successful, and our CTO Fosri is a huge fan of this game and many space MMOs. So he said this would be the perfect game to make economics, real money, a first principle of the game, right? And what we mean by that is it's not like on EVE Online, it's an important core component of the game, but you can never really sell your stuff for real money except through gray markets,
right?
Which is basically the developers don't like. It's they can shut it off. They're always kind of this cat and mouse game. We said, what if you make it a first principle, and we just say all of the stuff you craft, all of the stuff you discover, all the ships you own are truly the player owned, and we as the game company expect you to improve your ship. When you're done with it, sell it. If you die, give it to your kids in your will. I mean, all the stuff that you do with traditional ownership.
So what's next for you guys?
The baseball season's around the corner, into March. And Crypto Space Commander's in our 0.5 alpha right now, so you can actually jump on and play it. And we're just going to keep pressing on those two games this year, and hopefully both of them are big hits.
Well, this next season, is it all new bobbleheads across the board, or do you get to bring yours over from last season?
So we haven't announced the full game design for our 2019, but you will be able to play your 2018s into the future, and that's kind of the idea of the game, is that each year has its own sets.
Is there like a draft and like all that like coincide with when the actual draft happens to get your own players?
It's a good idea. No, but I like that.
I was like, wait a minute, yeah.
No, there's only so many of one.
Yeah, but
so
there is enforced scarcity via the blockchains. What we do have to do every year is we have to take inventory of the new players, right? Because players switch teams and. Right. And now this, by the way, has always been a problem. Just a challenge with baseball cards.
Yeah.
You print your baseball cards and a player gets traded. So
what would happen then if, say, somebody trades teams? Are they going to switch jerseys if it's the last year? Like if they were on the Dodgers in 2018?
Well, no, last year's jersey will always be, if you were a Yankee last year.
It would be useless.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of the fashion, like can you change out jerseys if you want them on your collectibles?
Oh, like if you have the player, can you like pay more to get the new player on the new team?
Yeah.
Or does it go back into the kitty?
Yeah, we haven't announced our game design. Good ideas though.
We're available. If you want us in that meeting, we're cool.
We have lots of questions.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thank you so much, Randy, for coming in and stopping
thanks for
and
having
talking
me.
with us.
Yeah, thanks. That was super exciting. For more information on Lucid Sight and all of the incredible crypto games they're launching, you can visit lucidsight.com.